I'm Logan T. Smith for Opinions Subject to Change, here to talk about Disney's Turning Red. But first, this video is not sponsored by Rubber Vibration Isolation Feet. You put them underneath things that shake. So, these ones particularly are marketed for putting underneath your washing machine and your dryer. So I put these underneath my washing machine, and it certainly does help to stop the washer from shaking the whole house. But also you can put them underneath speakers and subwoofers and things like that. And I put these underneath my subwoofer recently, yesterday, and it's definitely different. I don't know if I could say better, but it's definitely different. Turning Red features Mei Mei, a 13-year-old girl growing up in Toronto in 2002. And there's something unusual about Mei Mei. She turns into a giant red panda whenever she has really strong emotions. But she doesn't know it at the very beginning of the movie. It just starts happening right before we show up. Now this coincides with a time in her life where she could be going through puberty. And there's a little bit of humor involved in that. And they do address that somewhat. They handle it in a way that is delicate and humorous. And I don't think it will be offensive to anyone, and I don't think it'll be terribly uncomfortable for anybody to watch with their teenage daughters or anything like that. But it's certainly there, so if you're really sensitive about that, you may want to watch that first before you show it with your kids, but I really don't think it's an issue at all. The story is pretty good, actually. I was surprised at how much I liked it. It's funny throughout, and actually, watching it, I really do think that me and my wife are the target audience for this movie. Having been teenagers in 2002, both of us, they've done a pretty good job of capturing some of the elements of the culture at that time for the teenagers. Particularly the boy band situation. In fact, so there's a boy band that features fairly prominently in the movie, and the music that the boy band produces, when their first song came on, I was thinking, is this actually a boy band song from the early 2000s, or did they make this for the movie? They've done a really good job of capturing that feeling of the music. And the lyrics are kind of silly when you really listen to them, but it is the kind of stuff that boy bands sang. Maybe not the singles that got played on the radio a lot, but some of the stuff that's on the albums, you know what I mean? So there's some pretty dumb boy band songs out there, of course. The flow of the movie is quite good. It consistently moves. It doesn't have any points where you're feeling like they've done something to break that flow. It does go. The story carries throughout. The characters continue to develop. Mei Mei has 3 friends. Their characters are mostly pretty static. But that's, that's what you expect. Mei Mei has some development, and this movie really is more about her relationship with her mother. And it's a good relationship. It's, I think, a reasonably realistic one given the circumstances that this family is in. And it's not breaking any new ground as far as relationships being portrayed in movies. It's there. I think it's good. But it's not earth-shattering or anything like that. But it's pretty good. The movie looks really nice as well. It has a pretty consistent feel throughout. There's 2 things, I think, in it that sort of are a change to the style. One is, there's one scene where there's someone who's cooking, and the food is significantly more photorealistic in this one scene than anything else in the whole rest of the movie. The food looks outstanding while he's cooking it. It looks amazing. But it's different. It's still the same sort of color palette and everything like that, but it is different in appearance than the rest of the movie. And the other thing that happens is they do anime eyes. And if you don't know what that is, that's when the eyes get really big and sort of they have a certain sort of circular look and glare and things on them. And I don't like that, but I'm sure lots of people are going to be fine with it. It just sort of pops in every once in a while, and it's okay. I'm not really taking too many points off for that, because it's done in a way that sort of makes sense with the rest of the imagery. Like, it's different from the rest of the style, but it does fit in, and they put it in there reasonably well. So I think they've done a really good job visually here. Like I mentioned before, the music is good. They've done a good job with that. I think it really does carry the time and the character of the piece fairly well. The surround sound is thorough. It's good. I didn't notice any problems with it. And it was definitely there. Cinematography-wise, it's good. There's nothing in it that is like, oh wow, that's an amazing shot, or anything that's, oh, that's a terrible shot. So it's a well put together, technically sound cinematography there for sure. The story overall is good. The morals in it, I've only watched this just last night. And I'm not convinced I agree, but overall it's a fairly positive message, and I don't have a problem with my daughters having watched it. So I think it's pretty good. There is a little bit of messaging at the end that it kind of felt a little bit off, but I can't really address that. I'll need to watch the film again after having watched it to be able to really address that properly. And I wanted to get this review out immediately because you got to strike while the iron's hot. So here it is. Like I said, I just watched it once. They did it is quite a funny movie. It's funny throughout. I really did like it. There's only a little bit of negative things. There's a little more violence in it than I expected, but it is cartoon violence. Like, it's certainly, there's some slapstick comedy in there. There are some kind of scary sequences. She is basically turning into a giant bear, and she's not expecting it, so it's kind of scary. Not terribly scary. I don't think that the mini reviewers had any problem with it. There's some sexual content in it, just because it is dealing with that puberty sequence, but it's handled quite well. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. And there is just a tiny bit of language in it, but it's all, crap is the worst word that's in this movie. So nothing to be concerned about there. So all in all, I think that this is one that is pretty good for the family. The mini reviewers quite enjoyed it, and my wife liked it, and I liked it. I really like this one quite a lot. It's a good movie. I think it's one that you should watch, and I give it 8 out of 10. It's an excellent one. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. It was much funnier than I expected it to be. And that may be partly due to my age being right very close to May's age at the time that this movie is set. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and you have a lovely day. Thanks.